What up, what up, what up? What up, everybody? It's your girl, Marquita, but they like to call me Who Miss Hollywood, and you're tuned into another episode of So Hollywood, the podcast.
Is it me or is it hot in here? You got it. Is it me or is it hot in here? H-O-L-L.
Hey, what up, everybody? It's your girl, Marquita, but they like to call me Who Miss Hollywood. You're tuned into yet another episode of So Hollywood, the podcast. Excuse me. We in the studio today, session 420 studio, to be exact. And So Hollywood Podcast is a platform where everyone is treated equally, and I'm bringing them together with this thing called entertainment. And I have a special guest. All of my guests are special, of course, but he drove all the way here for his first podcast interview, and here meaning Virginia, and he drove from Georgia. Shout out to you. But let me do a recap prior to introducing my guest. I had New Face. He is a hip-hop historian, walking billboard, aka New Face was there. He is from Detroit and he lives in Atlanta. So if you want to see that interview, go see that interview, So Hollywood Podcast Instagram page, and catch the latest episode on all of your streaming platforms. If I'm not up there, please let me know, because I definitely need to be in the building or on that platform. And last but not least, if you want to be a guest, go to www.allofhollywood.biz. And without further ado, I would like to bring my guest up, Mr. Aaron J. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. What about yourself?
We can hear you now. My bad. See, I told you right at the beginning, play as fuck up, but it's okay.
Right.
You are an artist, an R&B artist to be exact, R&B soul, and then you are originally from Virginia, and you reside in Georgia currently, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, talk about it. So, let's start the interview off with this question. How did this thing called entertainment enter your life?
So let's say entertainment's pretty much been a part of my life since the beginning.
Mhm.
So like I grew up in the church. My mother, she sings, she's the director and stuff like that. So, she's had us in that scene for forever. So like, growing up, we've always been doing like different kind of like shows and stuff, or we'll go and we'll perform at like, well, not necessarily perform, but like sing for different churches and stuff like that. But me and my brother would be like, some of the main people, let's say that.
Right.
So we'd
The
be
forefront.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
okay.
we
You
would
was
always
leading
go
the choir,
out. Yeah,
goddamn it.
definitely. We had plenty of leads and stuff. So me growing up, that was always a part of my life. So it was something that I was always used to.
That's crazy, because like majority of my guests that come on here, they either started from the church or started writing with poetry or performing in like, their theater, or just going to even perform in art school and stuff like that. So that's crazy that it's a lot of people that have that, similarity in in their life, especially coming from church and being in the choir. Were you like required to be in the church, or were because that they also mentioned that too? But as far as yourself, were you required to go in and do
So
that?
I get what you mean. Like there are a lot of times where when I was younger, I felt like I was required to go. But, as I got older, the more, I got into the music scene, because for me, music was more about, I like the singing and all that. But for me, I played the drums and I wanted to play the keyboard, all that kind of stuff. So like I was more into the music scene. Exactly. So for me, that was what drew me into it. So that's why I kind of got more into it. But for the most part, before that, I wouldn't say I was forced, but, I didn't necessarily always want to go.
Right.
But, I was there because my mom had us be there.
Right. And plus it wouldn't, if that was not a part of your life, that experience probably would have been a little bit different.
Definitely.
But, you're here now. So that's
Exactly.
good. So at what age did you realize like playing instruments and being a musical talent was like your number one go-to, or either what started off first, if that makes sense?
Okay. So I'll say this. Growing up, I didn't always want to sing.
Okay.
Because singing wasn't necessarily my thing. I even say even till now. Like I do it just because I can.
Okay.
But it's just like one of those things that I had the talent, so I just do it. Exactly.
Right.
But like growing up, I always wanted to play the drums. Like there was this guy that I grew up with. and he was just crazy on the drums. He's the best person I've ever seen, and even to this day.
Wow.
And he just blew my mind. So I always wanted to be like him.
And that was here in Virginia, right?
Nah, that was back home. So I want to say, this was back in Hinesville. So I kind of went back and forth.
Okay.
So like I was here, let me say, the first 2 years of my life, moved to Georgia. Was there for like a couple years, then moved back here for a couple years. It was a lot of back and forth.
Okay.
So like, I got memories from both places, experiences from both places. So I just claim both.
Okay.
So but I was back home in Georgia. This guy was just great. So he always made me want to play the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, that's just always what I wanted to do. So I want to say I was like 8 years old at this point.
Okay.
And I knew that was it. From that point forward.
At 8 years old, you knew you wanted to be.
That was it.
Wow.
That was
Not
it.
a lot of kids know what they want to be at the age of 8. And that's really, really dope. And so with that being said, did you participate in anything outside of school, like musically, that really helped you along your way, if that makes sense?
What do you mean exactly?
Did you do talent shows? Did you participate in those type of activities when you were, in school or out of school, what is it, the showcases and stuff like that?
Nah.
You didn't do any?
Realistically, like for me doing music came way after school.
Right. Okay.
Like I was always just traveling, playing drums at the time. Like that was my passion. So at that time when I was in school, I was traveling, playing like for people that I knew and was just learning and stuff like that. So that's all I did at that time.
Okay. From 8 years old until about what? Would you say?
From 8 until I graduated high school, all I did was church drums. That was it.
Wow.
That was it. That was my passion. I just loved playing the drums. And if I couldn't play at the time, I was just singing. And that's just how it went. So I did both. So if I couldn't play drums at the time because they had a drummer, I was singing. But then, if they had practices and stuff like that, they would let me play all the time. Or if they needed me to fill in, that's what I did. And then as I got older, I became like the youth minister, music and stuff like that. And it just changed everything for me. I knew that music was what I wanted to do.
R&B specifically or just music in general?
Just music in general.
Okay.
Because at this point, I was trying to produce and stuff like that.
So you were trying to...
I was just trying to figure it out. I knew I wanted to do music, so I was trying like a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what I actually, took to.
Okay. So how was the music scene? Because you said you had experience in both Virginia and Georgia. So can you tell us, compare those music scenes growing up and, how it shows in your artistry today? So
I'll say as far as the music, I pretty much got majority of what I have now all from Georgia. Because there was this guy who to this day I feel like he's the GOAT. When it comes to playing keys, nobody probably can touch this man. And so playing behind him, playing drums and stuff like that, you'd be scared to mess up because he's at such a high level that he expects you to be perfect.
Right.
So I learned a lot from this man. I learned how to deal with the pressure and all of that. So, and then his mind as far as creating music, crazy. So I got a lot of stuff from him and it just taught me how to put together harmonies, melodies, all that stuff. I just got a lot of that.
The construction of everything.
And how to put it all together and how to blend it together perfectly. Because you didn't want it to be too much on this side or too much on that side. You got to have it perfectly balanced. So he just was good at making everything balanced.
And that was around what?
I'll say all through high school.
All through high school. Okay, all through high school. Did you go to college or did you do anything after you graduated high school?
So as far as music, once I finished high school, that was it.
That was
that was it. I still went to churches and stuff like that and would sing there and would play drums and all that every now and then. But for the most part, I stopped that after 2 years.
Really?
So yeah, it was. It really was just me just being out there, just figuring out who I wanted to be. And so I want to say I kind of got back home because I was in Orlando at this time.
Okay.
Trying to live my life, doing the college thing.
Okay.
And then I go back home to Georgia. Okay. And at this time, I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do in life. I'm starting to work, making pretty decent money, but I knew I wanted to do more. So I always knew I wanted to do music, so I would play around with it a little bit. But it just I never really found anything to click. So I was just still, just finding my way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to say Corona hit. When COVID hit,
Mm-hmm.
changed everything
So
for
that's
me.
2020.
2020.
All right, 2020. Boom.
So 2020 for me is when everything starts.
Mm-hmm.
So 2020 hits and COVID shuts down everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the house 24/7. I can't go nowhere. I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
One day I decide, let me try to record some music. I saw like this app on Instagram and this one chick was recording music. So I decided, let me try it.
Mm-hmm.
Very first time I picked it up, freestyle something, came out pretty good.
Do you remember what it is? Do you remember that first freestyle you did?
Not at all. Not at all. But it was like, at the time, it was decent enough to where I felt like if I actually tried,
Mm-hmm.
I might actually have something.
Mm.
And so from then, I just kept building, kept learning, got a laptop, started making more music,
Mm-hmm.
and just took off from there.
So progressively, you started to do your thing for yourself and,
Literally.
and by yourself, pretty
All
much.
by myself. Figured out how to
Wow.
engineer all of that from the ground up.
So you produce and you do all of your own beats, all of
Nah.
No.
I find the beats.
You said nah, pump the brakes.
Yeah, I find the beats. But
Now, how is
everything
that
else,
process for you when you're looking for beats? Because you kind of you categorize yourself as a R&B soul artist. So what do you look for when you're looking for these specific beats? I was gonna say Pacific, but you know what?
Well, really, I don't look for anything specific.
Mhm.
As long as I can vibe with it and I can flow with it,
Mhm.
then I can do something with it. So it's kind of hard for me because like I try not to just pick up any song and just try to make a song to it
Right.
because I feel like I'm forcing it.
Mhm.
So I listen to a lot of different songs. I go through a lot of different producers, and then I find like maybe one that I like, and I try a couple of those, and then I find the ones I connect with. The songs I connect with, those are the only ones I do. If I don't find anything I connect with, I just keep it pushing. So like it's kind of hard for me because like I want to make sure that I always put my best effort first.
Right.
And I don't want to just put something out just to put it out.
Right.
So it's difficult, but I still get it done.
So because I know you do a lot of covers as well.
Mhm.
So do you kind of like, how did you shift from doing covers to creating your own work?
So realistically, I did my own work first.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
I had done all of this, the whole project I just put out.
Mm-hmm. Introduction.
Yeah, that was done a long time ago. Like I just didn't put it out because I was still learning how to engineer.
Okay.
So it just took me a while to figure it out to get it to the point where I felt like I could put it out.
Okay.
So like I had finished that a long time ago, and
Was
with
that
the
a part of
covers-
that 2020?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so like I was just learning with the covers how to make it sound better. So the covers was kind of like my practice.
Okay.
And so that way when I got to the project, I could put something out that sounded pretty decent. So that's kind of just how it worked.
Well, they're really, really dope because I was scrolling through and I was like, what in the world? He done got auto tune. He got but it's really, really dope. And I appreciate, the state of R&B as far as where it is with you. And how do you feel about the state of R&B and soul music now?
It's kind of crazy, honestly, because like realistically, I feel like there isn't really a lot of R&B music. Majority of everything is just straight hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just hip hop here, hip hop there, and then maybe you'll catch a little bit of R&B. And so for me, I felt like R&B is just kind of slipping off. And so I felt like that's kind of why I feel like I have a better chance because I'm trying to come into a lane that's by itself. Like there's not a lot of competition in R&B. Like
Right.
everybody's trying to be a rapper.
Big
Like
facts.
literally everybody.
Big facts.
And
Big
so
facts.
I'm not trying to battle with all of those people because I don't have to. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to stay in my own lane, do my own thing, and just be where I know I need to be.
Have you ever thought about being a rapper though?
Nah.
Ever?
That's not me. Like I've tried to rap and all that. I try to freestyle and all that, and I don't want to categorize myself as R&B,
Right. Okay.
but it's just like I know I don't want to be a rapper.
Mm.
So that's just how I look at it.
I know my limits. I know my limits.
Facts. I know what my lane is. I'm gonna stay right where I'm supposed to be.
So let's retract a little bit. How was your, because I asked this question to a lot of people because I'm like very like up on mental health and like support and stuff like that. How was your support system then compared to what it is now? Because you said you just started this journey as an artist, what,
hmm
2 years ago.
Literally.
So you know what I mean? How, talk about that part of everything.
So I'll say for me, my support literally has stayed about the same.
Mm.
Like it's been, I'll say this. I'm the friend that has always been the one to support everybody else,
Mhm.
but I'm not the one that always gets the support.
Mm.
So it's like, so for me, like it's just more of a, my family's always gonna be there regardless.
Right.
So I know they gonna have my back and I'm gonna have theirs, period.
Right.
Anybody else outside of that, if you come into the circle and I know you there for real, then cool. But other than that, I just keep it pushing. So like my support circle is small and it's starting to get bigger with people that I don't even know. And to
Mm.
me, that's the craziest thing. Cause
So
I'm like,
you see people that you don't know supporting you a lot more?
absolutely. Like
Mm.
there are people I have never even met who will share my stuff, post and comment on everything I post. And people that I grew up with that could be my closest friends.
Mhm.
I don't see nothing from them
Talk
like
about
ever. And so I'm just like, okay. So once I started really putting out music and starting to notice that,
Mhm.
I started to realize that it's really just me. Like
Mm.
that's just what it is. And so I don't take that against nobody
Right.
because I mean everybody has to live their life.
Right.
And so like we all together, it's no bad blood, none of that. But it's just like I'm not gonna reach out to you if I know you're not gonna reach out to me ever. So I'm just in my own lane. I'm by myself. I'm just gonna rock out by myself until the wheels fall off. That's just how it works.
You think people once you get famous, do you think people gonna come out the woodworks?
Listen,
Because
they can.
that's how most of the time that's
I'm
how that happens.
I'm built totally different. Like they can come out of wherever they want to. I am not gonna see them. I'm not gonna hear them. That time is over with.
So you also had mentioned via Instagram that this was kind of your first time back in Virginia.
Mhm.
And this is also your first podcast. Shout out to I popped your cherry. Shout out to that.
Appreciate it.
But like why did it, I guess, take you so long to come back and, to, I guess, to just explore this area? Because Virginia, not just, in family wise, but as far as the talent out here, far
Mhm.
as the producers out here, as far as like that type of atmosphere, why did it take you so long to come back to this, you know?
Because I'm literally fresh. I'm so fresh at this. Like I'm literally day by day learning the new things that I have to do, the new people to talk to.
Mm.
I'm literally just figuring it out by myself. Like there is nobody else with me. It's just literally me. So it's like it is not that it took me so long. It's just that I'm just now figuring out
Mhm.
where I need to be, what I need to do. And so I'm just now doing those things.
Gotcha.
So that's just how it's working out.
Gotcha. So have you set up anything while you're in this area, or do you plan on like contacting some of these producers in this area and, I guess come back to Virginia to look for some of the people that, are really,
Mhm.
really buzzing in this area that, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean, that you probably could collab with. So do you see yourself coming and, collabing with any of the Virginia artists?
Definitely. Well, yeah, definitely. So like I do want to come back. I plan on coming back a whole lot more.
Mhm.
It's like now I'm at the point in my life to where I actually can travel. So
Okay.
before I was just work, work, work. And so now I just have more freedom.
Right.
So I plan on using that freedom, using my time wisely and just getting out here and making those moves I gotta make. So if I gotta come out here every weekend, I can do that.
Mhm.
I'll just be here.
And so what were you doing in not Atlanta, I was about to say Atlanta, in
I
Georgia
wish.
to kind of to help you with that as well? Were you also hitting the streets? I know you said it's really, really fresh and knowing how to
Mhm.
do it. So what were you doing in the Georgia area to help you with your career?
So right now, what I've been doing for the most part has been hitting social media. So
Okay.
like I went from like 300 followers to over 13, like just by just being
Engaging.
exactly. Like I've been trying to stay in front of people, been trying to make sure that people know who I am. So I've just been putting out content, making sure that I'm not just, doing it for myself.
Right.
And just trying to keep it to myself. I want to
Right.
put it out for as many people. So like I've been, doing the advertisements. I've been doing all that stuff. Just been trying to get my name out there.
Dope. Are you looking for a team, or are you like what will be your ideal thing to do right now in your career, with your career?
So realistically, I'm just trying to build whatever.
Right.
So, but I want to build it with the people that I know have my best interests at heart. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want to just have a more fluent experience with this whole thing. Cause like right now, I'm doing everything by myself. So like if
Right,
I
of
had like
course.
an engineer, that would make things 10 times easier.
Okay.
So it's just like I'm just
I
looking for
mean,
those
we got an
pieces.
engineer right there. He doing big things over there too. So you got to slide
Right,
on in
you're right,
there.
most definitely. And so like it's just those kind of things. Like I'm just trying to build and just make the pieces fall together like they need to. Like I just can't just wait for it to happen. I have to get out here and make it happen.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing now.
And coming on the podcast is one
Literally.
of the things.
I couldn't wait no longer. I had to do something.
Said, I'm about to set this date. We're going to get it popping.
I'm
We just
telling
going to
you.
talk about it all. So also walk us through like your recording process. And we've talked about choosing the beat, but how do you write? How do you, orchestrate your songs and your production, so to speak?
All right. So for the most part, the very first thing that I always have to do is find the flow of the song. So I'll listen to it and I'll flow with it. And if I like it, I'll kind of save it. If I don't like it, I'll keep trying a couple different ones. And then if I just don't find it, I'll leave it alone. Move on to the next one.
Right.
But like it's all about that feeling. It has to be a good flow. Before the words even come, I have to be able to flow with it. It has to sound good by just the flow itself before I even add any words. Okay. And so for me, the flow is the most important thing. I don't even care what the words say. Like as long as it sounds good, like just by the sound, like if you
that's all, folks.
But listen, like even if they don't understand English,
right.
Like I want them to still be able to hear the music
vibe.
And still be like, oh, this sounds nice. So that's my goal at the end of the day. As long as it sounds nice, the words will carry the rest of the word or carry the rest of the song. So vibe first, words later.
So how would you describe your sound? Is it like a melodic thing, or is it like, give us a little bit of, I guess, background on your inspiration and where your sound comes from?
All right. So for the most part, I love melodies and harmonies and stuff like that. Like that to me, just to hear vocals blend together and to hear the different ways you can blend them together, that is everything to me. Like I just like to create different sounds and to create different harmonies and melodies. Like I don't want to just have the regular basic, 1, 2, 3 melody. Like it's got to be something to make people wonder, like, how did you come up with that? And so stuff like that, like I hear singers who do some crazy stuff. And so I just love to kind of just mimic that kind of stuff.
Do you see yourself like being compared to like a Music Soul Child or those type of people?
Nah. I ain't trying to be on their level. I wish, but as far as vocals, like I ain't trying to even touch that. I do what I do, but I ain't at that level yet.
Not yet. I know that's right.
I'm working on it, but not just yet.
And and you just like you said, released a project. So we're gonna go down I guess the list of songs, and you can give me your inspiration behind it. So I guess walk us through how you chose the songs to go on this particular project. And this is your first project ever you put out. Okay, so this is really, really dope. So walk us through that process.
Okay, so I'll say
It's
this.
10 songs up there.
10 songs.
Okay.
The first song called Far Away. That song, for the most part, I didn't really have any inspiration, anything for it. It was just I heard the melody, and when I hear certain melodies, like certain words would just come to me. And so when I hear the certain words, I'll just kind of just use that and go. So that was one of the songs that I just put together in like 5 minutes, just because it just was flowing. Like I don't try to. Sometimes songs would just come to me, and so I'll just write it down, and that was just one of those.
Okay. And number 2?
And then the second song.
We're gonna go.
Listen, I don't even know the list of songs like that. So the second song is what what's it called? Level, I want to say.
I should have wrote them down, but I'm a bad host right
Listen,
now.
I'm terrible at names and stuff like that. Even though it's my stuff, listen, I'm terrible at stuff like that.
So who named them? You named?
Yeah, I named everything.
Oh,
Everything. I literally did everything about this song. About this project. It was all me.
so what do you see this project doing, and when you put it out, because it's out, and what kind of feedback did you get, and what kind of feedback were you, I guess, expecting as well?
So realistically, I got what I was expecting. Like the people who have heard it, they enjoy it. I haven't really gotten any negative. Like that's what I look for. Honestly, I look for the negative because like I want to know what you don't like, so that way when you hear the next song, you can't say that you don't like it because I fixed that.
Right.
So like for me, I haven't really heard any negative, but everybody who's heard it, they love it. And so for me, it lets me know that as long as they like this one, if I keep putting out music, they should keep liking the next one and the one after that one. And so for me, it's more like I say a confidence booster. Like I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. As long as they like this one, I just got to keep going and see where it take me.
Wow. And are you? This was recorded in your home?
At home, I did everything in my house.
Wow.
Literally.
And most people don't even get up to do half the things. So where do you see yourself with this project? Like within the next 6 months?
Well, realistically, what I want to do is try to do some showcases. I want to try to do some shows because back home they have plenty of places where they do shows and stuff like that. And even if I got to go out to Atlanta, because that's only 4 hours for me. So, and I mean, it sounds like it's far, but it's really not. Like I'm used to driving all the time. So like 4 hours ain't really that bad. So like I'll drive out to Atlanta, do plenty of shows there, do whatever. So like for me, I'm trying to push it out as much as I can. Like I'm just going to get in front of as many people as possible.
So do you have a roll? You got to get a roll out. You got to get all of that ready because that's what they're waiting for, and you got to get it to these DJs. You got to get people in front of you to hear what you have to say because it's really, really dope. And like I said, melodic, and it's very just overall it's dope. And if y'all haven't, y'all need to go and download, stream, whatever you got to do to listen to this young man because it's really, really dope. It's called Introduction, and you're gonna have a song that you're gonna perform in here soon, and it's called Classic, right? So talk about that. Like, why was that your go-to to drop this specific song?
So for the most part, Classic for me was one of my favorite songs to do. Like when I first did it, it was, I don't know, it just felt like it was a fun song. And it was the first song where I felt like I actually pushed because I felt like I wanted to try to keep everything G-rated. And that was the first song that I felt like I'm just going to be me. And so I just was me, and I just love that song. And it's been my favorite song ever since for the most part.
Do you have any video? Do you have a video to it, or is it going to be a video coming soon? Or what can you talk about?
For everything.
Exclusive access. Let's go and give us some exclusive on it. What you?
So for the most part, like even with the, I got a couple of features on there, and everybody wants to do videos for their songs. So I'm trying to make sure that we get everything done. Like I want videos for everything. Whatever we got to do.
The whole kit and caboodle.
Whatever I got to do to get it out there.
10 videos.
If I got to, I will. Literally. I'm going to make it happen.
I know that's right. Listen, y'all better tune in. You understand me? He's working hard. And you're 2 years in the game, and this is amazing. And you came here, like I said, this is your first podcast. This is your first step to new beginnings, and I want to see you win. And so, with that being said, what would you tell your younger self about your older self, so to speak? I don't know how you put it, but you know what I'm talking about, goddamn. Yeah.
Exactly. But I would definitely tell my younger self to stop being scared and to trust
Mm.
yourself and to do what you always want to do and not wait so long. I really feel like that's it. Like, just don't wait so long. I
Mm.
always knew I wanted to do this. Like,
But you
literally.
wanted to play drums. So, would you have been doing that had you not been a R&B singer?
Nah, like realistically, I knew I always wanted to do this,
Mm.
even before drums. Like singing, well, not necessarily singing, but just making music
Mhm.
and being an artist. I always knew I wanted to do that. It's just drums was my first love, so I just stuck with
Can you
that.
still play?
Yeah, probably. I ain't played in a while.
Yeah,
I should be able to. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to.
yeah. It's
But you
all
know.
good. It should be like riding a bike. It should be
Facts.
like
It
riding a
should
bike.
be. It should be. I don't want to say that it is gonna be. It should be.
Cause you can do that for your tracks, and
Definitely.
bring it back. You know how to play the piano, correct?
A little bit.
Do you play that for any of your? Do you add any of your artistry to your music outside of being
Not yet.
not yet? So
Not yet.
what will you be adding, and what are you looking to add? So to speak?
Like realistically, if once I get this keyboard and get my stuff together,
Mhm.
like I will probably do the whole thing. Like I'm not scared to test myself or to just try different things. So like for me, I'm just gonna do it. Like I know what I like. I hear things in my head all day, every day.
Mhm.
And I always want to write it down or play it, but I just don't have the stuff I had or that I need.
Mm.
So for me, in my mind, I'm thinking instead of always having all of these melodies and all these beats in my head, get a keyboard, put it down, and see what happens.
Mhm.
So I plan on doing everything soon.
Leave a what's that voice memo thing on your
Mhm.
phone? Just make it up. Shit, you better do it
Literally.
any way you have. Like it's very important to get it out, and that's really really dope. So, excuse me. So, is there anything that you would like to tell your guests or tell the viewers about who you are and what you're looking to do with your artistry?
Okay. Well, for one, I can say that there probably isn't many people that's gonna work harder than me.
Mm.
Like I literally spent 2 years learning how to engineer from nothing. Like I figured that out by myself.
Mm.
YouTube, me and the computer all day long, every day, hours and hours and hours. Like I learned how to do all of this by myself, just being at home trying different stuff. Like I don't think nobody else is gonna do that.
No.
Like I don't know many people who just decided to become an artist and figured it all out by themselves.
Facts.
So for me, nobody's gonna work harder than me, period.
Mhm.
So that's just how that
Period.
go.
You heard me?
Whatever I want, I go get it. And so, like literally, I just go get it. Whatever I want it, if I want it, I'm gonna go get it. And so, as far as this artistry, man, I'm just trying to take it to the next level. Like realistically, I see myself being everywhere.
Mhm.
Like I'm not scared to do the things that I have my mind set to.
Right.
Like nothing for me, nothing's gonna stop me. The only thing that's gonna stop me is me.
Mm.
If I keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, keep making these moves, getting in front of people, I'll be straight. I had nothing to worry about.
You heard it here first. So we are going to move on to something that I like to call top 5, which is 5 questions, 5 answers catered to my guests. So here we go. Top 5 R&B artists. Who are your top 5 R&B artists?
All right, so number 1, Music Soul Child. Which is why I was like, hold on. I can't do that right now. That's my man's.
Okay. No.
Definitely. And then I'll say number 2, Jasmine Sullivan. Easy.
Mm.
Easy. Because I don't know many singers that can really outdo her. Like, she is amazing. Period. Then I'll say number 3, I'll put Chris Brown on there.
Mm.
And then let me see. Number 4. I'm trying to think. Matter of fact, right now, I like what's his name? He got that song Over. What's that song? Lucky Dave.
Lucky Dave.
Yes. Lucky Dave. Absolutely.
Lucky Dave. I don't be knowing people's name, and that's
Listen.
bad because people come out back to back to back, and all you know is their songs. You don't never get to know the artist themselves. You be like, oh, that's who that is.
Facts.
The
Like
whole
I'm
time I've been
terrible
liking
with
this.
names. I am terrible. Like those names I gave you, those are the only ones I know. Everybody else, I know the song, but that's about it. Like I suck at names.
Like what? No, I just know the song. No.
Literally, the one who sing that song. That's what you gonna get from me. I promise.
Okay. Top 5 collaborations. Who would you would like for your next project?
For my next project,
Mm-hmm.
well, realistically, I don't know. Like I'm not anybody who wants to do anything with me. Period. Like I'm not looking to do anything with. I'm not trying to force nothing on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to make music with me, by all means, reach out and we'll make music. So like it's not.
So
I don't
you're
really have
open
a set list.
to that.
Absolutely.
All right. Top 5 songs on your new project.
I will say number 5. Well, I'll say number 1 will be my song called "What's It Gonna Be" with my boy Meezy.
Okay.
That one is number 1. Number 2 will be probably "Asking B." Number 3 will be let me see, probably "Classic." 4 will be "Yeah." And then 5 will be "Tell Me."
I just hear her in my left ear. I appreciate that.
That's funny, man.
All right. So the last one is top 5 moments in your career thus far.
So far, this one would have to be number 1 for sure. But I'll say, other than that, man, just the other 4 would just be literally me learning how to do music. Like just the process of me learning it was just a journey. I enjoyed all of it. It was a long journey, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
You still got some time to go because
Exactly.
it's just an uphill battle.
Literally.
I ain't even gonna hold you.
I know.
Once you get in this thing called entertainment, it's another thing. Definitely different. So we're gonna move on to exclusive access. If you have any exclusive news that you can release now, such as like video drops or anything that you've been holding on to.
So I actually have another song that will be dropping on March 4th.
Why March 4th?
Just because I picked that date for a reason. I can't even remember what it was. But it was a reason. It probably wasn't even that important. That's probably why I don't remember. But yeah, I just picked that date. March 4th is just dropping. And
on
it's
all streaming platforms.
On all platforms.
Okay.
And this one is a little bit different than the project that I put out. So it's more of a hip hop feel. So this one's a little bit different. So I put it out at a different time.
We got that exclusive. So it is time to wind it down. So I'm going to allow you to do your shout out, social media, last words. And I have one final question that I always ask my guests. So you can go ahead with your shout outs, social media, and whatever you would like to leave our friends, because now we are friends.
Yes, sir. All right. So for the most part, all of my Instagram, Facebook, all of that, Twitter should be AaronJJ72. You can reach me at all of that. You can DM me, whatever. If y'all want to do any music, please hit me up. I would definitely do something with y'all. Other than that, just rock with your boy. This is going to be a good journey. I promise I'm not going to let y'all down. Like, I'm going to keep putting out this music, keep putting out these videos. I'm going to get back to the covers every week, and we just going to rock out. We just going to have fun with this thing. I promise you that.
Do you already have some covers in mind that you want to do?
Okay. I have like 3 ready, I think.
Y'all heard it here first again. That's another exclusive access.
Definitely.
I appreciate that. So last but not least is the question of the day, which is, what bothers you about the industry and what would you do to help fix it?
What bothers me about the industry and what would I do to help fix it? Let's see. So what bothers me, number one, is that R&B, number one, is falling off. Like I don't hear no R&B at all. And if I do, it's from the same, three people. It's gonna be Chris Brown. It's gonna be Drake. That's it. Like it's not gonna be nobody else. So I'm trying to bring more R&B into it. Everybody don't have to be a rapper.
Everybody does not have to. You heard it. Listen, everybody does not.
It ain't for everybody. I promise.
They just, I don't even want to talk about it. That's a whole nother podcast. You understand me? So, and last time, your Instagram, one more time.
Aaron JJ72.
Right. So we about to get up and down, up out of here. But follow me, So Hollywood the Podcast on Instagram. Follow the host, which is me also. MISS Hollywood 313. It's a lot of updates coming, so make sure you guys keep it locked and turn on your notifications for the updates because it could be you that could be posted on my page. No, I'm just playing.
I tell Dad. Okay, here. Yeah. Let's see.
To be a guest on So Hollywood the Podcast, just email sohollywoodthepodcast@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram, So Hollywood the Podcast, and MISS Hollywood 313.